What's going on, everybody? It's Matt here again, and today we're doing something a little bit different. This is not a finished lightsaber review or anything like that. This is a quick review of a prototype tool that a member of the Graflex Addict support group has sent me to do a quick review on and give him some feedback for. So I thought I'd do a quick little test demo for everybody right now to see how it works, and so I can give my opinions on it, and he will go back and possibly revise things and potentially put this up on Shapeways, or he'll make them himself and just sell them directly. So what these are is this is a 3D printed tool for aligning the grips on a Graflex, whether it be a vintage or a 2.0 or whatever you have. It should make the job a lot easier, as well as a tool to align the rivet holes, especially on a vintage. Not so much the 2.0, but on a vintage. That comes in handy greatly. So I have both of them here. I have a vintage Graflex and I have a Graflex 2.0, and we'll go over both of them real quick. I have some rubber grips from Blast Tech that are pre-cut for Empire Strikes Back or The Force Awakens, and I have the notched grips from the 2.0 kit. Now he is also planning, I think, at some point of coming out with an alignment tool for A New Hope, which has the 7 rather than the 6. But we will wait for him to do that, and it'll probably be the same design once it's finished as this one, so there won't be a need to do a review on that. So first off, let's get started with the 2.0, and we'll bring that one up. And I've already disassembled this one, so we can just pop this shroud off. And the best way to do it is to unscrew the lower half. And of course, on the 2.0, to avoid damaging the half that's under the clamp, it is best to completely remove the front shroud, slide the shroud off of the inner core, and then slide the clamp off of that end before you undo your lower half for the first time. Because on this one's going to actually be A New Hope. But this side was under the clamp, so I didn't want to twist it and scratch it, so make sure you slide that off. But for right now, we're going to be demonstrating the Empire Strikes Back / Force Awakens side. So basically, all you do is you slide this tool on, just like so, and then this part is actually the cap. It slides over and locks down, and that keeps this top cap keeps it from spinning. You get a little bit of spin, but not a lot. Well, I shouldn't say spin, I should say twist. It keeps the teeth from twisting like so. You can get a little bit of flex. This top cap helps prevent that. So you just slide the cap down and lock it in, and it really keeps it much sturdier. As long as you keep it is still able to move freely. So as long as you keep it pushed all the way to the bottom, that should work perfectly fine. And we can take our 2.0 grip, we can drop it on. As you can see, it actually fits perfectly right in the top. It is the perfect size. It has been measured perfectly. If I can get my camera to refocus here. There we go. It has been perfectly measured to allow for the 2.0 grip. Now that does still have, if you look, a little bit of movement. It does push it up a little bit, so maybe that's an improvement that can be made, is just a little bit tighter. But I have a fix for that as well, that maybe he can introduce into the final version. But as you can see, it keeps it nice and perfectly aligned. Now with the 2.0, it does have the notch on the bottom of the grip that slides into the pre-drilled hole, so that keeps it at the right level. All you have to do is make sure that this doesn't move, and this will slide right in. So then all you have to do is peel off the plastic backing on the grip itself to reveal the double-sided tape, align the notch, and press it into place. And if we do that, if we keep that right there, and we'll remove this piece, and we'll remove this piece, if you look, that is pretty much a perfectly aligned grip, I'd say. It looks pretty straight top and bottom. The bottom edge is nice and flush with the bottom. I'm pretty happy with that, so we'll slide this back on again just to be safe. And we'll slide the cap back on. If I can get all the fingers to align, there we go. As you can see, there's really no flex in it anywhere. There is a little bit, but like I said, I have a fix for that, which I think will take care of that problem. But overall, that's pretty damn good. So it's very simple to use. It just slides right on, slide your grip on, tape it down, and then move on to the next one. So that, I think, will work very well for the Graflex 2.0. So moving on, let's put that aside, to the vintage. As you can see, there's no holes, so there's no notches or anything like that. So we'll go ahead and open this up. We'll put that off to the side. We have a vintage 3-cell bottom. And what we can do is we can slide this on again. Now the problem with these ones is that you want the grip when the lower half is installed in the Graflex, and you tighten, you do that full twist. You want, wherever the grip is going to sit, you want it to line up with the clamp. So if you take it off and you just kind of place them anywhere, you have no guarantee that when you align this, it's going to perfectly align. So what I would do is, if there's no way around it, if there's no way to modify this to perfectly sit on here, I just take a Sharpie and just make a little mark right in the center of where the clamp two braces, where the two clamp braces, excuse me, are. I'd make a little Sharpie mark there. That way you know that's where the center you want to be is. But for right now, we'll just take this apart. We'll slide this on. So let's say my clamp mark, my Sharpie mark was right there. Let's start with the Blastech one, since they don't have the notch. And we'll just slide that one right in. And we'll slide this back on here. Align the top half, there we go. Now as you can see, the Blastech ones are a little bit shorter than the 2.0 ones. We have a little bit of a gap at the top, but as long as you make sure that the tool is all the way seated, you can just push the grip all the way to the bottom, and it doesn't really matter about the top. As you can see, the Blastech one fits in there nicely. Now I can't be sure if the Wanawongo ones that Roy sells are the same dimensions, if they'll fit in there just as evenly, but the Blastech ones I know for a fact obviously do, so that will work just as nicely. I would recommend, however, possibly before you do the grips on a vintage, as you can see, because once you have the grips in place, there's no way to drill the holes. The holes will be drilled wherever the notches are. So I would recommend doing the other tool first, which is this one here, which is very simple. It just slides on, and you can just mark your holes. So all you have to do is, you can even mark your holes first. You can just mark them with a Sharpie or a center punch, such as this one here. You can just center punch the hole and just punch it, or you can just take a Sharpie and mark it. But again, make sure you have it installed in the clamp, fully installed, so you put it in, you get that twist to lock it, and then either use a straight edge or combine this one to make a mark here and then bring it all the way down so that your hole is perfectly aligned with the clamp. So that way when you drill the hole, it's already where it needs to be, and you only really need to do that one to make sure it's aligned, and then all of the other ones will be just based off of this one and this one. So that's super simple. And whoops, this will just slide right on. As you can see, it does fit on perfectly with the clamp still installed, but you do get a little bit of flex out of the fingers of it. So that's why it's recommended you just take it off and slide the cap on, and then just align it just like that, and put your grip in there, and you're good to go. Now the cool thing about this is, if you drill the hole using this one into a vintage, then you can still use your 2.0 grips because you have the holes drilled for the notches, and the plastic is actually slightly more screen accurate than rubber for the vintage Graflexes. When Empire Strikes Back and things like that, they actually had plastic grips. A lot of people think they were rubber, but I'm 99% sure they were actually plastic. The rubber was added after by fans who thought rubber was more comfortable. But I think when I do my vintage build, which will be Empire Strikes Back, I'm actually going to use a leftover set of plastic ones because I like the plastic better. They don't deform, they don't deteriorate over time, and they hold their shape better. So I think I'm going to use those. So basically, that is the quick tutorial for how to use this tool when the final version comes out. So now if we go into what I think could be addressed, what I think could be changed, I'd like to see this top piece modified a little bit. If we look at the sizes here, as you can see, the vintage Graflex is just a hair shorter than the bottom half of the 2.0, which is a little bit of a shame. I was hoping they'd be exactly the same height, but it's not a huge deal. What I'd recommend doing is taking this and extending it, making it longer, and stop it about where the 2.0 grips are. So let's say we put this on the 2.0 and we'll put this in here. So I would continue the plastic beyond, but I would stop the channel right about here, and the rest of it would be more solid, so that way you can have a cap on here, just a little lip on the inside that stops this from going all the way down. So see how it just slides over right here? It would only be able to go so far and then it would stop, just as this one has a cap on it. It can only go so far down. I'd cap this one, extend these up and widen them so that these tabs, these fingers come down and do an L shape, much like the tabs on the inside of a Graflex clamp, the way that that works. That has these tabs here cut into it, and it has the tabs on the inside. I'm sorry, it has the slots cut into it, and it has the tabs on the inside. So when you see these square cutouts, they're actually, I don't know if you can see, it's actually a tab that's bent in. And what that does is it rides in this channel until it stops, and then you twist it, and it rides in the 90-degree channel. So it goes up, stops, and then it locks in over here, and then you tighten the clamp down to lock in place. So if we took that same principle and applied it to this tool, it would allow you to put this on till it stopped and then just twist it, and it would lock itself into here. That way this can't slide, or this can't slide off. This top part can't slide off. It would give it a little more tension to allow this to not spin so much, and it would keep it, I think, keep these fingers a little tighter, because they wouldn't be able to slide around. They wouldn't need to. Right now, the issue I'm having is they're popping up and off like that. They're going up and over the little tab. If I can get my camera to focus here, which it doesn't want to. It really doesn't want to. Anyway, there it goes. It's popping up and over like that. So I think if we extended this up and brought these down and maybe angled them, or did something along that effect, I know that really wouldn't work, but I know there's a way to do it, where you just put this on, it stops, it has a little lip right here, or even a top on it, a full top, and then you just put it on, twist it to lock it in. Maybe a tab on the back side. That's more like the Graflex clamp, have a tab that pokes in from the outside, and give it a twist to lock it, and I think that would solve 99% of the issues I'm having. And I'm only having one issue. This is a fantastic tool. I'm definitely going to continue to use this for all of my builds to make sure that all of the grips are properly aligned, but for the final version, if there is one, I would recommend just making that one small change, just changing the top, and that's basically it. Everything else works flawlessly. It works beautifully as it was designed. So Mike, I thank you for sending this to me to try out. Hopefully you're okay with the little bit of critical feedback that I had. You asked for my honest opinion. It is a fantastic product. I think everybody is going to absolutely love it. I know the feedback so far on Facebook has been absolutely incredible. So hopefully this helps, and I look forward to seeing the second version. So thank you all for watching, and have a good day.